Howdy, howdy do Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And welcome to episode 231.
Yes.
One day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
Our lives are different to anybody else's. That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor. The definite article, you might say.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the Doctor!
For now, for this moment, I am the Doctor again.
The ground beneath our feet is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. And the entire planet is hurtling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. And I can feel it. We're falling through space, you and me.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect. But actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
I could be a curator. I'd be great at curating. I'd be the great curator. I could retire and do that.
I'm the Doctor. I've lived for over 2,000 years, and not all of them were good. I've made many mistakes, and it's about time that I did something about that.
Bit of adrenaline, dash of outrage, and a hint of panic knitted my brain back together. I know exactly who I am. I'm the Doctor. Sorting out fair play throughout the universe.
Howdy, howdy to Who fans. Hope you've all had a cracking week and that you've all managed to do something Doctor Who related.
Hey, remembered this week.
I got told off.
Who told you off?
Yeah. One of our long-timers, Spencer.
Oh.
Yeah. He was very polite about it.
That's good, though, because that proves that they're listening and we do it just to keep people on their toes, just testing.
It's a test,
see if anyone spots. Yeah.
So I got a tweet from Spencer that just said, do you guys not manage to do something Doctor Who related on this episode? The opening really jarring for me. So I think what he was saying is, guys, you beeped up. You insert beep here. You
forgot to say. It's funny because months ago I was having lunch with a friend, a colleague, fan who listens to the podcast.
Yep.
And he's a funny old bean. I'm not going to name him, but he's a funny old bean. And he said to me, "Oh, I do enjoy your podcast." I said, "Oh, that's good." He said, "But I wish you'd stop saying the same thing at the beginning every week." And I was like, "Really?" I said, "But that's our origin bit." He's a funny so-and-so, so we'll ignore that. But he was probably the only person pleased that we forgot to do it.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No. Most people will enjoy it. He would, and I know he won't mind me saying this. He would be the one that didn't enjoy it. But yeah. I didn't even notice as well. I didn't even notice you forgot to say it.
Yeah, I just I lost myself just for a minute. I think I redeemed slightly right at the very end in the outro. Ironically, right at the end in the outro, I remembered and did it then. But
yeah,
too little, too late. For some people.
Too late.
Yeah.
It was a reward for anyone that had listened all the way to the end, to the very last few seconds of the podcast.
Indeed, yeah. And somebody actually, I think it was on Twitter or Facebook, I can't remember now, but somebody did ask us to reinstate the end of the episode competition. Remember we did that about a year or so, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
We always used to finish the episode with a trivia question and you'd find out the answer next week. It was a bit like sort of Saturday morning live television, I suppose, going live and stuff. You used to have those competitions and put your answer on the back of a postcard, all that jazz. So maybe we should do that, get the old brain cells rocking again.
The quiz. Yeah, well, you've got a quiz book, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I've got one somewhere. Yeah.
I'd
say he was very good at quizzes. Maybe we should get him involved. Is our friend Morgan. He's very good at doing questions. Yeah. He sometimes brings one down the pub, doesn't he? He'll just say, "Oh, should we do a Doctor Who quiz?" Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't like a good old Doctor Who quiz, eh? Night or day?
Indeed. I love a quiz.
Who doesn't? So we might do that. I might look at that for next week.
Yeah.
And get you guys to report back with your answers, of course. Anyways, how have you been, buddy? You been all good? Anything Doctor Who related?
This is, I know, do you know, this has been one of the most quiet weeks for me in terms of Doctor Who related stuff. I haven't managed to do anything, and that's unusual. I normally find something, don't I? But no, I haven't read any more of my Cricket Men book. I haven't had time for any of that. I haven't read Doctor Who magazine because I'm furious that once again, and I know long-time listeners will be laughing, once again, my Doctor Who magazine was folded in half and shoved through the letterbox and looked like it'd been chewed by a dog. So I actually, this is absolutely true. I was just in the process, because I have a sticker on the front of our letterbox saying, please do not bend my magazines, because it happens all the time. So I've put a sticker on there. So for the last few months, it's been all right. And then I went outside, looked in the letterbox, saw nothing there. I thought, I must replace that sticker because it's all faded. I come in, I wrote the sticker saying, please do not bend or fold my magazines, went out to put it on the letterbox, and there it was inside, folded in half and shoved through. And I was like, I don't believe it. In those 3 minutes, I'd missed the postman and he'd shoved it through. So anyway, I thought, well, he must be close. So I raced out of there. I was fuming with this folded, crumpled magazine, and I saw this postwoman walking down the road, and I was thinking, oh, that's not my usual postman. So I chased after her down the road with this magazine and was like, excuse me. And I noticed actually Doctor Who magazine, because I suppose I've had a few replacements now, I've actually put on the thing on the front, please do not bend, as well.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I did actually chase after the postman, and she looked a bit startled, and I wasn't rude. I mean, I'm never rude. I just said to her, could I ask you to just open the gate and pop this in the box and not fold it? I said, because I pay extra for these, because, you know, with the subscribers get the textless covers. And actually, I've grown to really like those. And she was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I just didn't know what to do, and I'm quite new on the job. And I was like, fine. So hopefully it's sorted, and the sign is back on the gate. So hopefully it won't happen again. But no, it's right down the middle as well. So when you open it, it's like opening a sort of folded, if you know what I mean. It's not fun to read because it's got a great big crease right through every single page. It's kind of, you're sort of reading it and it's all falling around in your hand, if that makes sense. It drives me crackers. So I've kind of thrown it on the side in anger and I haven't read it. I'm waiting for the replacement to set up. But yeah, anyway, I've had a word with the postie, so it shouldn't happen again. But if it does, then I might not be so polite about it.
Not good, mate. Bad times.
Not good. No, it's not good. Because anyway, so I haven't done anything. I haven't had time to watch any Doctor Who or nothing really. The only thing I've watched this week, and it's the only thing I can even remotely tie into Doctor Who related, is The Thick of It, because it's got Peter Capaldi in it. So a friend of mine said to me, you know, that he couldn't believe I'd never watched The Thick of It. So I was like, no, I haven't. They had the box set in HMV for a ridiculously cheap price, like every single series plus the film. I think it was like $9.99 or $14.99 in a box. So I bought it. I thought, I'll get it because I'm sure I'll enjoy it. So I've been working my way through that, and I watched the final episode of Series 4 of that the other night. But that's the only thing I've watched at all with any sort of Doctor in it. And Capaldi's great in it. He is absolutely brilliant in it. It's not one for the kids though. My word,
definitely
the language.
Not. Yeah,
the language is shocking. But I knew that because I've seen clips of it and stuff. But yeah, it's very strange seeing him like thinking that's the Doctor, but he's like effing and blinding and throwing sandwiches at people, and it's quite funny. But yeah,
there's a lot of it as well. It's not like every other conversation or a few times the F-bomb. Pretty much every sentence that he says has got an F-bomb in it.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. He's a very versatile actor, isn't he? Very, very different to the Doctor.
Very different. Actually, he is versatile because I've just thought this is true. Yesterday, I was going through YouTube and stuff, and I saw the Lewis Capaldi video that Peter Capaldi was in. So it's his second cousin removed or something.
Something like that.
Because you know, I've just sort of been trying to gen up on my music and stuff, and I was thinking, everyone's on about this Lewis Capaldi, and I haven't really sort of listened to any of his stuff. What's it about then? I saw the Capaldi video, so I played that, and it nearly reduced me to tears. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah,
it is so moving for a music video. I was just like, and again, it's just Capaldi's face. He's just like, there's no dialogue. It's just all in his acting, in his facial expressions. And oh, wow. I watched that music video and I was thinking, that was brilliant. I don't know if I enjoyed it or not, because the music made me feel so sad. When I switched it off, I almost felt depressed. But it's a nice song and it's a great video with Peter Capaldi. So can't think what the song's called. I don't know if you know. It's
I can't remember the name. But
Lewis
video.
Capaldi is the singer, and Peter was in the video. I think it's called. No, I can't remember what it's called actually. Starts with him stood at a train station. It's absolutely awesome. But worth a watch, but just don't put it on if you're having a bad day, because it might finish you off.
I think it was Someone You Loved.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, really nice song. Yeah.
So it's a sad music video, but it's kind of nice at the end.
It is nice at the end. Yeah. But Capaldi, even though he's just a music video, he's so good in it, and it kind of made me, just think. I just wish we'd had a bit more of his Doctor. I think he was it's one of the best actors we've had as the Doctor, I think. I just wish we'd had a bit more of him, really.
Definitely. Yeah, it's one of those, not as extreme, but it's a little bit of an Eccleston vibe where you just wanted a bit more. And unfortunately for Capaldi, he was written a little bit up and down, inconsistent, roundabout, wasn't he? Until he settled into it a little bit.
Series 10, he was spot on, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think Series 10, he was really, he had found his groove like 100% then.
Yeah.
Before then, I think he was battling with some of the writers and where to take his role a little bit. And I think there was moments of brilliance there, though, all the way along. There was these little pockets of amazing, but yeah, he was just... needed a bit, I think, another series, because he was umming and ahhing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I believe he was considering it. Yeah.
Yes.
Talking of Eccleston, his Instagram feed is worrying me. I'm flicking through Instagram and the other day, and because he's got an official account on there, as we were talking about last week, and a couple of days ago, he posted a picture of him, and he was he's got this mad, unkempt beard, and he was covered in rocks, I think, or something. Did you see this? And I was just like,
I haven't seen this one.
It just looked a little bit odd. I was thinking, it just looked like a man that was perhaps on the edge of losing his mind.
Really?
I don't know. It was just a bizarre picture, and he has been posting pictures of like shopping racks and things. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not having to go at Chris because I think he's great. I love Chris Eccleston, but I'm just slightly disturbed by some of the things he's posting on Insta. Yeah. But it does get your attention, and I'm sure that's the whole reason for it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Are you looking at it now?
Yeah, the only wording to support the picture just says Albert and Esme design. So it looks to me like some kind of photo shoot for something.
A photo shoot, maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
But then the next photo is him in the garden with some flowers, some yellow daffodils, I think.
Yeah.
Where he looks a bit more normal. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a bit more normal. Yeah. But it's good though. I love the fact he's on Insta. I think it's fun.
But then the photo on from that is a guy standing there with a ginormous cabbage, and his wording is just "my friend Dave with his cabbage."
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a little bit disappointed listening to the David Tennant podcast the other day. Not disappointed in that because it's excellent, but disappointed that he was talking about his Instagram account.
Oh, right.
And I was thinking, and he basically said, "Yeah, I don't have anything to do with that."
No, of course he doesn't.
No, he basically just said, "No, it's set up to publicise the podcast." But he said, "No, I don't. I have nothing to do with anything to do with that posting from that at all." And I was thinking, "Oh, that's a shame because." We know that they don't do it all sort of thing, but I'd like to think he sort of had some input or that you might get a surprise picture from Tennant and, but no, that was a bit sad.
No, he doesn't have anything.
At least with Chris, you're sort of thinking he's definitely posted that.
It is a bit strange. I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit odd.
Are any of the other doctors on Insta? Imagine if Hartnell was on Instagram.
Yeah. McCoy's on there.
Is he?
Yeah. He posts his own stuff, or whoever's with
travel
him.
Posts, yeah.
I think Matt Smith's not.
No, Matt's not on there. No.
I think that might be it. I don't know of any other. What's his face? Colin, is he on there? Yeah, how did you know who I meant?
Huh?
How did you know who I meant by that?
No, I don't know. Just psychic link.
See, we're on the same
contact.
The vibes are coming through the tech. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking who I'd like to see on that. I thought Colin would be a good one. No, Colin loves Twitter, doesn't he? Colin's on Twitter.
Well, that's why I asked, because I know that he's a Twitter.
He does like to tweet.
Yeah.
I miss Davison on Twitter as well. Do you remember the days when Davison was on there? And you might remember. Do you remember when the Moth was on Twitter for a while?
He was, yeah.
And he got driven off.
He did. He had a breakdown, didn't he? And
I think he had a few glasses and let rip, and then decided it's probably best if he wasn't on it. But that's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame people get driven off Twitter.
It is,
by idiots and fools. Yeah.
I'll tell
you who is on. Sorry, I'll tell you who is on. It's the RTD. Rusty Davis. He's
I follow him.
He pops up on my feed a few times. He's cool.
He posts a lot as well.
Russell.
Yeah, he puts a lot on there.
Yeah.
Talking to David Tennant though, the upcoming series, can't wait for that to start at the end of May.
Oh, me too.
Good Omens. Yeah, it looks. I think they put another trailer or something out last week or the week before with some other little bits, and it just looks really, really good. Like really funny and entertaining. And Tennant looks. I think Tennant really shines when he's playing the bad guy. You know,
he does. Yeah.
He absolutely shines. You remember when he played? Who was it? I think it was. What's the Jessica Jones series with the Marvel thing that was on Netflix?
Oh,
Jessica Jones. He played the bad guy.
Yeah,
he was really, really good as that.
He is good. I remember before he was Doctor Who, he did an ITV drama called Secret Smile, and he was a very nasty piece of work in that, and he played it too well. He was like, no, I don't want to see the Doctor doing it. But he was very good in that. But it was a nasty piece of work. But Good Omens looks amazing. I was only talking about that last night because we were finishing up a few series that we'd been watching, like Line of Duty finished and stuff like that. And we were like, oh, we need something new now. And I was like, yeah, well, Good Omens starts soon, I said. And you were the first person to tell me about it. I'd never heard of it, and you were like, "Oh, this is this thing with David Tennant and Michael Sheen. It looks really cool, based on the is it Terry Pratchett?
It's the Neil Gaiman co-authored.
Neil
Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. They wrote the book together. Yeah,
that's it. So I was like, so that's starting to see it. So I watched the trailer. Trailer looks awesome. I thought, yeah, this is what I need now. I've got, I need a new series to start. So I was Googling it last night and I couldn't find it. And I was like, when does this start? And I realised after I was Googling the wrong thing. I was Googling Good Souls. I was like, I can't find this Good Souls TV series anywhere. And so anyway, I eventually Googled David Tennant and it came up and Good Omens. I was like, and it's the end of this month, isn't it? It's the end of May.
Yeah, the 31st of May. It goes out on Amazon Prime. So you need to have Amazon Prime to watch it because it's made by Amazon, but it's co-produced by the BBC. And Neil Gaiman was in an interview a week or so ago and said that it will go out on BBC Two, but it will be a few months after that.
That's good because I don't have Amazon Prime, but I think I might be able to hack into my parents. I think they don't have a share thing on Amazon because I was talking to my mum about it and she didn't know. But I'm sure you can share Amazon. I'm not sure anyway. But I'm going to try and hack into theirs. And if I can't, then it's good that it's going to be on the BBC. I'll be able to watch it. On BBC. BBC Two, did you say?
Apparently so, yeah. BBC Two, a few months after. So, I don't know, August, September time, possibly.
Yeah.
Sure, but
his latest podcast is it's David Tennant and Michael Sheen actually in there. I listened to half of it not yesterday, day before. I only stopped because I got interrupted. I need to finish off, but those two have a great rapport. And just hearing them on the podcast, I was just thinking these two are going to be great in that.
I've not listened to that one yet, but
it's good. Well, what I've listened to so far is really good. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good one. I think one to look forward to.
Indeedy. Neil.
He's playing the devil, isn't he?
He plays a
David
demon,
Tennant.
Not the devil, but he plays a demon. Yeah.
Oh, a demon is it? Oh, yeah. I thought it was. I thought it was the devil and God, but it's a demon and an angel, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, they become sort of unlikely friends.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think the story is. I bought the book last month or the month before, but I've not had a chance to start reading it yet because I've already got another 2 books on the go. But I think the premise is the Antichrist has been born, and they think it's this one child that's brought up to be a certain way, but it's not him at all. And Michael Sheen's character has settled into this sort of village life really nicely, and he doesn't want to have that disturbed. And David Tennant's character, he's also knocking around on Earth, and he's very happy. So the two of them band together to stop the Antichrist from bringing the end of the world, the apocalypse, basically. So it's a real sort of big. I don't think it's a religious thing per se, but it does centre around the whole apocalypse and angels and demons and stuff. But
I guess it looked like it was the kind of, well, I'm hoping it'll be. It looked like it had action and comedy, and it just looked like that sort of mix of stuff. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of what I need at the minute. Something a bit of
yes, yeah,
it's a bit of action, bit of comedy.
I think we all do.
A couple of explosions.
A bit of escapism, eh? Just for an hour.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
That's all we want. Just for an hour. Just some escapism. And yeah. Old chibbers, if you're listening, that's all we want.
That's all we want. So have you been up to anything Doctor Who related this week?
No. A little bit.
We're slacking, aren't we? We need to get some... Well, I say we need to get some Classic Who on. We do manage to watch at least one Classic Who every month for the review, don't we? But
we do, yeah.
Yeah.
Week before last, I bumped into Mandip Gill.
I knew there was something I wanted to ask you. Yeah, so, and when you say bumped into, you mean literally...
Yes, literally.
Bumped into her, sent her coffee flying across the street, and no, what happened?
Yeah, so I was coming out of my office, so every couple of weeks I need to go into London for work, to our office there. And I was coming out sort of late morning-ish to go and get coffee. Walking across the road, I was on my phone, which is very naughty, I know, across the road, looking at my phone. But it's a quiet road anyway. No one ever goes down there. I'll get hit by a car next week, I know.
I know, yeah, I just think, yeah.
And somebody was coming towards me, and the sort of my peripheral vision, I couldn't make out, and they were on their phone as well, and we bumped into each other. And I knew instantly who it was, as you do, because you know who she is. And I was very apologetic. I was like, I'm really sorry. And she had a big smile on her face. She took it very well. This 6-foot guy just nearly knocking her off her feet. And she was all smiling. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. And that was it. So my tiny little interaction with the new era of Doctor Who was that.
Oh, that's cool, though.
Yeah. She's very small. She's a lot smaller than what I thought she... Yeah.
You weren't tempted to say, oh, Mandip, can I get a selfie then, like I would have been?
Well,
she wouldn't have got away from me.
Well, I for a split second, I thought about it, but then, you know, she had headphones on and she was clearly...
Oh, right, yeah.
I think she had... I wasn't looking, but I think she had Google Maps or something on her phone, so she was looking to try and find some location, so I didn't want to...
To be fair, it's awkward as well, isn't it? Because when I lived in London, I used to bump into people all the time, and it's almost like you freeze a little bit, because there were so many, I can't think of example, but there's so many times when I would see someone famous and be like, oh, I want to ask them, but actually no, they've gone. And you know, it's sometimes you just don't want to bother them on the street. I mean, there are certain people that, you know, if I saw them, I would just have to, like if I saw Matt Smith on the street, I would just have to go up to him and ask him.
Of course.
And you know, because I would regret it if I didn't. But you do sort of sometimes feel bad because they're just going about their day to day. I think isn't that what used to annoy John Sim? Is it'd just be doing his grocery shopping and he'd get hounded for
that's right,
selfies. Yeah. And that's why he's like, that's why he got such a bad rep, I think, for being grumpy and stuff. But to an extent, you can understand it. You know, they probably get it a lot. So in a way, it's kind of cool that you didn't, because she's probably just going about her day to day. And
exactly.
You know, it sounds like she would have been really nice though if you had, but you know.
Yeah, lovely smile.
Well, she might run you over next week, so you know, she might be the one driving the car, and you know, and then not see you. But there you go.
There you go. Yeah,
you might see her again.
Other than that, nothing really. My good wife was about to lob down to the charity shop a Doctor Who book that I hadn't seen in ages and hadn't read yet. It was the...
What's she doing getting rid of your Doctor Who book?
No, this is a Doctor Who book that she bought.
Oh, okay.
A couple of years back. It's the Doctor Who Fairy Tales book.
Oh, I remember that. I never got that, actually.
Yeah, well, I didn't either. So it's got a really nice cover. It's got like a hand-drawn kind of cover.
It's glittery, isn't it, if I remember right?
Yeah, and she said, I'm about to take this down to the charity shop. Do you want it? Before I do, get rid of it because it's Doctor Who. I was like, yep, I'll have that. So I started reading that. It's actually not too bad, you know. It's a cool little read. Yeah, it's not going to win any awards for literature, but it's a really good sort of fun little read. So I started that, and not much else really.
saved from the charity shop.
Yes.
Just got visions of your partner just getting rid of every time you turn your back. I can go. I can go to the charity shop, get rid of all your pops, and
there is that to consider.
He doesn't need that anymore.
Yeah, the webcam's
don't let
on.
her get hands on the Harrod figures, for goodness sake.
Oh crikey, no!
Make sure they're safe.
The webcam's turned on and monitoring the situation at all times. I can log in on my phone and see it. So
yeah, that's good.
It's all good. Yeah. The only other thing I've done, I'm going to say this very, very quickly, and it's a real quick, shameless plug, and I won't say it anymore. But I started another podcast recently.
Gasp.
Yeah. So for ages now, I've been to-ing and throwing and contemplating starting a Star Wars podcast because my other love of sci-fi. So Doctor Who is my television love of sci-fi. Star Wars is my movie love. And I've wanted to do it for ages, and I've been umming and ahhing, and people have said, no, you shouldn't do one because there's like a billion others. If you think there's a lot of Doctor Who podcasts, there's like a times that by 100. That's how many Star Wars podcasts are out there. But I thought, nah, sod it. I'm going to give it a go. So a guy, a good friend of mine that I used to do a DC comics and films podcast with years ago, we teamed up and we've done this Star Wars podcast. So anyone that's into Star Wars as well as Doctor Who, go over to iTunes or Spotify, whatever, and just do a search for Spark of Rebellion. That's the name of the new Star Wars show by yours truly.
Sounds good. Spark of Rebellion. I like the name.
Yes. So I'm not going to say it anymore. That's the shameless plug.
Well, that's another one tick. So you've got Doctor Who, Star Wars. Now all we've got to do is do a Wurzel Gummidge, a Blake 7, and what was the other one we were getting?
Yeah, there was another one, wasn't there?
We're slowly getting around. So then your whole week just be constantly recording podcasts.
Oh, that'd be nice. It
would be nice, actually.
Yeah, if I won the lottery or came into some money, I think I would do that just full time. I think I would just be a podcaster or something like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing, yeah. Yeah, podcasting is very... It's got I don't know how to say it. It's got a very cool aspect to it, podcasting. Because a lot of people, as over the years where we've been to several conventions and events and so on, people have said to us, "Oh, it must be really cool doing a Doctor Who podcast. It must be really cool doing that stuff." And I think "cool" is just the best word to sum it up. It's it's just a really good way. I mean, outside of what you do, so you've got a really good YouTube channel, so you've got your outlet to, talk about whatever you want and so on. And then this is our little corner of the Doctor Who fandom and world, isn't it? So we can.
I know exactly what you mean, because if I love telling people I do a podcast. It does. I in my head, I think it sounds cool. Like if I say, "Oh, I've got a YouTube channel," it doesn't have the same, because so many people have got YouTube. It doesn't have the same sort of thing. But if you say to someone, "Oh, I'm a podcaster," podcast. Yeah, it does have a cool ring to it. Yeah, so you can tell us the title one more time so people can subscribe. What's it called? The Spark of Rebellion.
It's called Spark of Rebellion, a Star Wars show. Yes, and we've.
And is the first step out now?
Well, there's a trailer, and then there's the first 4 episodes. We recorded the first 4 episodes in bulk.
Wow! Just
to give people something to listen to and to let go. This one goes out on a Saturday, and so there's 4 episodes out already. And then we're going to do a weekly thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And I think on that note, shall we land it and do some news?
Alrighty.
Christmas, mate. Christmas will be here before you know it.
Probably will.
Yeah. We're not meant to.
I'm still in. So have you changed the TARDIS sound? So I've got to mention it because is the TARDIS sound fit different, or have I gone mad? Was that different?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
It's different, isn't it? You didn't tell me. I was thinking that's not the TARDIS landing. Anyway. I liked it because it's got that. It's got the Hartnell extra bit in it. Cool.
Yeah.
I just needed to know.
There are 2 sound clips that have changed from this week. One of them Adam knows about. The other one I didn't tell him because I wanted to see if he noticed.
That's right. Okay.
And
cool.
you did.
Anyway, sorry.
Christmas.
It'll
be here before you know it. And we're not meant to get any new Doctor Who until next year, which we all know about. However, there are some rumblings doing the rounds that we might be in for a Christmas special this year before Series 12 lands at some point next year. So the the BBC. Who makes
ITV.
Doctor Who, Adam? Who makes Doctor Who? It's the BBC, isn't it? Yes.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so the BBC haven't confirmed this, as they haven't said yes, because I assume there would be a little bit of a fanfare and whatnot, a little bit of a Dr. Smith, I need you moment, which we haven't got. So none of that. However, there are some rumblings from inside the camp, so to speak. Now, Crimbo special. It would be a little bit of a backtrack, wouldn't it? Because they ditched that in favour of a New Year's special last year, or this year, however you want to look at it. What do you reckon? Would it be cool to go back to Christmas Day, or would you want another New Year's one, or would you're not too fussed at all about having Doctor Who over Christmas or New Year?
I think it would be nice to have one of those two. I kind of think if they do a New Year's Day special, then they've covered their own back, because they could technically say, well, it's 2020 and that's what we said. If they do a Christmas special, then it's, well, you said there'd be no new. So I'd be happy with either. But I think we should get something, because I think it's odd, really, that they cast this new Doctor. They got her rocking and rolling in her first series, and then we had this massive year gap over. It's going to be over a year to the next series, because I just think that is such a strange thing to do, because you get all these new viewers on board, you lose all the core fan base, it seems. Do you know what I mean? It's been a very conflicted start. Steady. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. So they've got let's concentrate on the positives. They've got lots of new people watching that maybe haven't watched Doctor Who. So you get them invested, and then you say, yeah, we're not back for another year and a half now, and I think it's odd. So I think we need something just to keep people, it's like throw us some breadcrumbs, just keep us, keep the appetite there, really. So I think it'd be a good thing. I hope it is true.
I hope so, because I completely agree with you. I think if you've done all this work to get all of the new batch of, or new generation of Who fans invested, and all the young females that look at Jodie as a role model and all of that stuff, and then you just disappear for a year and a half, you kind of lose the
momentum.
You do, in a way, yeah. I mean, in one way, it can be a good thing, because we're not going to go into it on here, but you and I and a lot of fandom were fairly critical of the majority of stories that came out of Series 11.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if they really took this time, this extended time, to really come up with some cool stories, so that when Series 12 lands, it's, things have improved, and we're, the reviews and everything are a lot better, basically. But on the other hand, I think I agree with you. I think a year and a half is a big break. I know we've had breaks before when the Moffat was in charge, but they weren't this long, were they? They weren't this long.
Well, it's and it's not just that. I think because when we've had breaks in the past, I think you've kind of established things, and I think it's just strange to give Jodie a series and then expect viewers new and old to wait a year and a half to the next. I mean, you think about the Sherlock specials. They do, they've sort of gone down that road, but Sherlock is established and people know. It just feels like they just got going, and then he went, yeah, well, see you in a year and a half, guys. It's like, oh, and I just don't want the momentum to be lost, because people move on to new shows very quickly, and they get bored of things very quickly. And if you don't keep the interest there, in other words, the BBC can't expect people to just come back to it because it's Doctor Who. Don't rely on the brand. Do you know what I mean? You've got to keep people invested in the series. I mean, I consider myself to be a huge Doctor Who fan, but even my momentum at the minute is like, I need something to sort of really get me back into it, because I'm just not that bothered at the minute, and I shouldn't be feeling like that as Doctor Who fan. So we need something. That's why I hope this is true. Because when I say not bothered, I mean obviously I'm bothered. I want to see a new special. That'd be great. But yeah, I can feel my interest sort of waning, and not in the classic series, because I will always watch that, and I love. I've got 50 years worth of Doctor Who that I love putting on and watching. But in terms of the continuation of the series, my momentum is pretty low at the minute, so I think I need something to get me back into it. So I hope it's true, and more than anything, I hope it's good.
Well, you and a bunch of other Who fans have got the Series 11 box set you can watch.
I, genuinely have not rewatched a single episode, apart from when we've rewatched it to review it. So I've watched each episode twice for the podcast. I've got that box set. I don't know why I bought it. It is sat on my shelf, gathering dust. I've no inclination to rewatch it at all. I'm sure I will. I'm hoping it'll be a bit of a trial of a Time Lord, maybe, that just suddenly I'll get the inclination to put it on and watch it, and but it's just sat there at the minute doing nothing.
Oh dear. I think it also depends on what type of TV series it is and what type of TV show. I think the way that Doctor Who is structured, where you have this, 10 episodes or 12 or something, isn't it? This one, or series 11, was it 11? 10, yeah. 11. I think that's it. You kind of expect it to roll through on that kind of basis, I'm not saying it's a soap. I'm not saying it's that regular, but you almost expect it. It's not like these very short specials that we have. How many? Something like Broadchurch, for example.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
that was a one-off special that really kept you hooked, and the whole reason why it worked, I think series 2 was a year later or 2 years later, wasn't it? The whole reason that works, the big gap in between, is because they want people to be talking about what's going to be happening next and all that stuff. But whereas Doctor Who, because it's so secretive and nobody has any clue or anything about what's going to happen, the only thing you've got is any sort of untied up story lines or characters from the last series. But they don't really leave everything on that much of a cliffhanger. Did for series 11? I don't think so.
No.
So you kind of got that. Well, we know what's happened. Everything's been tied up. Tim Shaw has been captured and all that jazz, and everyone seems okay now. And
I've just had a vision of Tim Shaw in like one of those sort of carry-on films with hospital beds with his leg up in a big plaster, saying, "Yeah, you never believe it, nurse. Matron, I've been shot in the toe." Just like leg up in a cast. Yeah. Tim Shaw. I know exactly what you say, mate. Yeah, I just think it'd be nice to have something to ease that gap. I mean, we've said it before. A year sounds a long time. It goes quickly, but I'm not exactly. I'm not exactly clawing my way to the new series at the minute. So I feel like I need something just to get me back into it a bit. Yeah,
and there's no time on when it's coming back in 2020. So it could be. It's certainly not going to be in January. That's for sure. So it might not be until, I don't know, could be like July. So that's a really long time. So I think, if they can drop a Crimbo special or even a New Year's one, that'll be like a little pit stop.
In a way, I'm thinking New Year. I know the rumor is Christmas, but I'm thinking New Year is the way to go. Start the new year, get the Doctor into, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Kick off the new year with a Doctor special. I think that'd be the way to do it. But if they do a Crimbo, equally happy with that.
Have a big multi-Doctor New Year's, like proper massive story.
I think Chris is just a cabbage away from being tempted back.
Or even have like Jodie and McCoy.
Oh, that would be cool.
Or Jodie and I don't know, someone. I don't know. Just a really cool thing that just gets the fans going mental and just really sweetens them up for series 12. I don't know.
I think we do need to bring back some of the hardcore fans, and I'm not just saying that because I go to conventions all the time. I meet up with fans all the time. Some that I've known for years, some that I've just met like a couple of weeks ago when I went to that TARDIS pub, a whole brand new bunch of Doctor Who fans that I've conversed with over Twitter but never met before. And I've got to be honest, every single person I chat to, whether it be at a convention, a shop, a pub, whatever, they all say the same thing. They just haven't got on board with this Doctor. But I know there are some people out there that have, but I would say 95% of the people I talk to are just not into it. And it worries me as a Doctor Who fan. I'm thinking we need to get, I'm not saying there's not a place for new fans. Of course there is, but we don't want to lose people that have loved the show for years.
Absolutely.
And I just worry because so many people that I talk to are just like, no, I'm not bothered, it's rubbish. And, I'm thinking, God, but you love Doctor Who. And they're like, yeah, I know, but not this one. And I just want us to all get back to, let's become a happy family again.
All we want is peace.
Yeah.
World peace.
That's right.
Anyway, Doctor Who may be coming back for a Christmas.
I don't know if he's sat at home flicking peanuts at the TV like Superman gone bad, just flicking peanuts at Jodie. I want to be enjoying it again.
I can just imagine you. Yeah.
So could I actually.
2 bottles in.
Stubble.
Peanut. Yeah.
I love that scene. Is that Superman 3 or 4 when he goes bad and he's just like sat in the bar, flicking peanuts, smashing the mirror. Yeah.
I love Bad Superman in that one. He's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't he put Clark Kent in the
Crusher?
Yeah.
That's that it's funny, isn't it? That stays with you, that scene.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, from Superman back to Doctor Who.
Yes.
That's it for news. Not much going on, but we should probably crack on with some merch. Shall we get old Grumpy him?
Yeah, get him in.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Well, there you are, young man. What do you think of that now, A Viking helmet?
I know, it's on the telly. It's everywhere.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
Try work in a shop now, it'd help.
I love that bit. I work in a shop now.
Here to help.
Brilliant.
Vinyl. It's
love a bit of vinyl.
It's still making its way into the shops everywhere.
Yeah.
Doctor Who vinyl shows no signs of slowing down.
Good. I love a bit of vinyl. Big covers, nice artwork. Yeah.
Which is good, yes. How would you like some bogey green vinyl?
It really is as well, isn't it?
It's a cross between sort of day 3 of a head cold mucus colour.
Oh.
And the
that's how I'm going to ask it when I phone up Asda. I'm going to be like, got that bogey green Doctor Who vinyl?
Well, I'm going to say there's two variants of mucus going on here. So the front, actually, let's say that. So the Creeping Death is coming to vinyl, which is a new series of stories from Big Finish, and it's a 10th Doctor and Donna story, and it's going to be exclusive to Asda. Yeah. And it will be out on Friday, the 24th of May. A limited edition run of 1,000 copies.
Quite limited, actually.
Yes, a bit of blurb to go with this. So, London, 1952, and a deadly smog envelops the capital, but something even more dangerous, an alien, is hiding within the mists. When the Doctor and Donna get lost in the fog, they find a motley group of Londoners trying to make their way home. Soon, the stakes are raised as death creeps along fume-choked streets, and not everyone will make it out alive. Alive. Yes, it's in the limited edition green, or they call it the neon green vinyl. Now, as I said, there are 2 shades of mucus going on. The front cover is like the head coldy mucus you see in the tissue. The actual record, the vinyl itself, is a much brighter green, and it reminds me, I reckon they've colour picked the colour from Ghostbusters 2. Or the first Ghostbusters. Yeah. It looks like this, Slimer. It looks like his exact colour, I would say.
Yeah, so you're not thinking Asda green?
It's definitely not Asda green.
Okay.
No. But the cover's not...
That's what they were going for.
The cover's not too bad. It does... I'm not a fan of the cover, to be honest with you. I think it's okay. It's cool, but it's got like a whole... Like everything's like a greeny, mustardy sort of vibe. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah. But yes, I mean the story itself sounds very good though. Are you going to go hunting in Asda for this?
Well, I probably will, because I do love the Doctor Who vinyls. I love collecting these, especially when they're mucus green. I don't think I've got a mucus green one, so yeah, no, I definitely will. Asda's a bit difficult for me personally. I wasn't thrilled when they announced this was an Asda exclusive, but because I think I can only think of one Asda store that's even remotely near me, if you know what I mean. I'm thinking it's probably about a 45-minute drive. Not terrible, but you know what I mean. It's the sort of thing where if I go there and they don't stock it, and it's not exactly a big Asda either. So I am a bit worried about not actually managing to find one. But if I can, I'll definitely pick it up. I'm hoping it's not going to be anything too horrific price-wise. I think the last one was about 18 quid, wasn't it? The Sainsbury's Zygon one, I think it was about 18 quid, something like that. So yeah, if I can find one, I'll pick it up. I do agree with you about the cover. It's a bit one tone. I kind of like it. I think it'll look better in hand. I'm hoping. I think it'll be one of those covers that looks nice in hand.
Yeah, I would say so.
But yeah, have you got an Asda near you? Any? Do you do your shopping in Asda?
I don't shop in Asda. No, there is. I currently live in Luton, and there is one, a fairly big one, the other end of town. So I might take a ride over there and see what they've got. How many editions is it? 1,000? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot really across the country.
Well, no, not. Well, I'm just thinking of those scumbags that go around and buy them all up, don't they? And then sell them on eBay. I'm just hoping they don't go around and buy them 10 at a time and clear the shelves. Because 1,000 isn't an awful lot, is it, for a vinyl? But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think I'd get my hands on one. When's it? May 24th. Yeah.
May 24th. And
might take a little trip over to Asda.
Yeah, it's from the Volume 3, the 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 3. It's from that series, which is coming out from Big Finish, I think the end of May as well. So it's around the same time Volume 3 is out, and that's comprised of 3 stories. No Place, 1 Mile Down, and The Creeping Death. And you can order the box set as a limited edition from Big Finish. It's 25 quid on digital, 35 quid on CD. Or you can buy the stories individually. So 3.3, The Creeping Death, will be $8.99 digital or $10.99 on CD. But the vinyl will be good though.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's slightly noisy about giving these exclusives to the supermarkets is that, because, if you haven't got one close to you, like I haven't, from previous experience, phoning these supermarkets to try and find out if they've got them so you don't have a wasted hour journey can be a nightmare. That's my biggest bugbear, is that very often you'll phone, like with Sainsbury's trying to get the Zygon one, I was phoning them, and you kind of go through to sort of this head office. Even if you phone the store number, you go through, and they never seem to know anything about them. I mean, that might not be the experience of Asda, because I think this is the first one they've got. So hopefully it won't be a nightmare. But I'm finding this with a lot of Doctor Who merch lately. I don't know about you, but like with B&M, you phone them and, you get somebody, hello, and they don't know what you're on about. And it's just like, sometimes it's easier just to risk it and go into store. But then it's so frustrating if you get there and they haven't got it. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. It'll be the quest for the bogey green Asda Doctor Who vinyl. Yeah, we shall see. Anyway, in other news, merch news, and following on with the Big Finish theme, actually, The Lives of Captain Jack Volume 2 is coming out in June, and it's got a blimmin' awesome cover of Captain Jack in the Sixth Doctor's costume, which surprisingly really suits him, I think. He's kind of running out of an exploding TARDIS as well. It's a really eye-catching cover. So this is Volume 2. This follows on from the first part, and the blurb is this. In The Lives of Captain Jack Volume 2, Captain Jack takes on fake news, trench warfare, and the Sixth Doctor's dress sense in 3 new stories. So it's 3 volumes. You got James Goss has written a piece called The Peace of Mind, What Have I Done by Guy Adams, and Driving Miss Wells by James Goss. So 3 stories, sorry, not 3 volumes in this set. I haven't got the first one, I must admit. I remember we talked about Volume 1 when it came out, and I think it got quite good reviews. But I didn't pick it up at the time. I'm tempted with this one, but I'm guessing I might need Volume 1 first. But I think it's worth it just for the cover. It's going to be $24.99 on CD and $19.99 on download, but that will rise to $34.99 and $29.99 after the initial release. So if you want to get it for the earlier prices, you want to get it before it's still on pre-order, before June, basically, before July. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure when in June this is going to land, but
they never give specific dates, do they? No.
If you want Volume 1, that has gone back up. So that's 35 quid. CD, 30 quid to download, yeah. I'm intrigued by the cover alone. I think a lot of people are. There was a lot of buzz around Twitter when this first started doing the rounds, and it does look very... Your mind just goes into 1,000 places. Like, how has he got Collins?
Yeah, why is he in the cost 6? Yeah, it's definitely intriguing. Yeah.
Indeed. So, I'm with you, though. I'd like to check out... You never know. Do you have to listen to Volume 1? Or can you just go, I think you can go straight in with volume 2 and pick up volume 1 in a sale later.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm assuming they're standalone stories, but as I haven't got volume 1, I couldn't confirm that. But I'd like to think you could just dive straight in. My OCD would hate it, though, if I had volume 2 and not volume 1 on the show. I just couldn't. I
know. Yes.
But yeah, I'm not paying 35 quid for it, I'm afraid. They might do a sale. Sometimes when they release volume 2, they'll do a special offer, and they probably do bundles and stuff. And so you can probably get volumes 1 and 2 in some sort of deal, I would think.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, Big Finish normally do a sale multiple times throughout the year, don't they? So just keep an eye out for that.
I'm just looking at the little blurb. So, Peace of Mind, the first story, it says, when the Sixth Doctor falls dying into his arms, Jack must carry on in his place. Is the universe ready for a whole new kind of Doctor? Now, that does sound good. That's story 1, Peace of Mind by James Goss. That is an intriguing little blurb, I think. Why is the Sixth Doctor dying? Anyway, the second one, What Have I Done by Guy Adams, it says, on the battlefields of World War I, something is hunting in the trenches. Jack must try and save the life of a wounded soldier. Okay. Mm-hmm. And finally, Driving Miss Wells, James Goss again. Alien invasion, stolen planets and burning skies. Newsreader Trinity Wells.
Oh,
Yay!
Trinity Wells.
Trinity's back.
Yeah.
Used to tell everyone the world is ending. One day she stopped believing it. Will her new chauffeur change her mind? That's going to be Jack then.
It's going to be Jack.
So
yeah.
the blurbs are good as well. Yeah, it does sound like a good little release, this one.
And I quite like this 3-story volume as well that they're doing with this and the 10th Doctor. It gives it a bit of a, what's the word? You don't feel like you've got a marathon ahead of you, that you have to put aside hours and hours. You can just get through 3 stories relatively quickly.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
So there we go. Some Big Finish news.
Indeed.
Thank heavens for Big Finish, eh?
I know. Yeah. Let's keep rocking and rolling, don't they? Their output is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was looking at, I always go on every month just to see what's coming out next month, because I never want to miss out on the pre-order prices, because I do think they go up a bit steep. And I was just looking, and I think it's July is the month when they've just got so many releases coming out that I want to get. I was just thinking I just won't be able to afford all that. But yeah, I think it's July is a mammoth month for releases.
I think so. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, good times. Bad times for your wallet, but good times for your ears.
Indeed. That's news and much.
It is.
Review time, bud.
Yes,
let 'em
indeed.
Know what we got.
Yeah, so finishing up series 2 of the Sarah Jane adventures with Enemy of the Bane.
Hello, Luke.
My mum, she's disappeared.
Is it aliens?
What do you want? Your help.
After you kidnapped my mum and put her in a trance.
Sarah Jane Smith.
I need to break into the Black Archive.
We have to get the scroll, find Horace, and stop them bringing him back to life.
It's the attack of the one-eyed spinning things! We have a security breach!
Surrender, or be devoured.
The consciousness of horror. He is the Bane's agent. Give me the scroll.
You alien chaps never get the message.
Shall I destroy them now? I'll come with you. My boy.
You cannot escape! Defiance will be eliminated! The age of Wormwood approaches!
That theme really gets in your head.
Enemy of the Bane. It was first broadcast back in December 2008. The 2-parter as usual from the Sarah Jane Adventures. It was written by Phil Ford, directed by Graham Harper, and it stars the usual Attic crew from Series 2. And the story is Mrs. Wormwood is back in town. She kidnaps Rani's mum, and it's a trap, really. She doesn't want to do anything to Rani's mum. It's a trap to get Sarah Jane to find her, and it appears that she's fallen on hard times. At first glance, she plays the sob story that the Bane are after her and they're going to destroy her and eat her. So she's appealing to Sarah Jane's better nature because she plays it up that the Bane are actually after some sacred thing that they can use to destroy life across the galaxy. So she teams up, or they kind of team up, and it turns out that that's all a lie, of course. Mrs. Wormwood has actually teamed up with a Centauran called Karg, and between the two of them, they're going to take down Sarah Jane and all that. But along the way, I'm not sure if she's genuine or not, but she has a bit of a affection towards Luke. She kind of takes on the mother role and tries to lure him away from Sarah Jane and wants him to rule by her side. But as always, the attic crew are on the case and save the day. And this is the finale, isn't it, to Series 2?
Yeah.
So to wrap up Series 2 then, Enemy of the Bane, what do you reckon, buddy?
So I thought it was a great wrap up, actually. I thought it was a really good end to the series because we've enjoyed this series a lot. Mm-hmm. So I wanted it to go on a good story. And I think this brought together a couple of nice continuity bits from the first and second series, which is really good. Great to see Karg back. I didn't know he was going to be in it either. I don't know about you.
No.
I was really chuffed when he suddenly popped up because I mean, obviously we knew the Bane would come back because of the title, but yeah, when he pops up, I was like, hey, that's good because he was great. He was in the first. Was it the first story in this series, or he was near the beginning, wasn't he? That he popped up. I think it was the first story.
I think so.
I remember saying he was a good, a rounded character for a Sontaran, and we liked him. So great to see him popping up. Maybe not my favourite story from the series, but a nice end to the series, I thought, and very enjoyable. The first episode absolutely whizzed past. I was amazed when the end credits come up. I was like, really? What? Whoa. It zipped along. Second part fell a little bit into the trap of a lot of running around and screaming, but I still thought it was enjoyable. Wrap up was a bit quick, but yeah, overall I thought it was a really nice ending to the series, and absolutely just delightful to see Nick Courtney back as the Brig. Just seeing Sarah Jane and the Brig together again was magical, actually. It was just really brought the episode up, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very good. Yeah. Over to you. What did you think?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed this story. It was a really good... It had some really nice little moments that you could tell this was a series finale, especially at the end. The little speech that Sarah Jane gives, and it kind of goes along at a nice-ish pace. There weren't any moments where I thought, it's dragging a little bit here. It does move along quite nicely, and the storyline is good. Some of the action scenes are good, and it does give Luke a bit of a time to shine as well. Because I feel like the last 2 or 3 episodes, it's been quite Rani and Clyde heavy. Whereas I think this one, Luke, they gave him a story that he could really come into his own sort of thing and really cement his place with Sarah Jane on Earth in the attic crew and so on. Because you always get that little feeling that because he's not human, you always get that little feeling, is he going to run off? Is he going to go and do something? But no, he's completely happy and content with Sarah Jane, happy being on Earth, all that stuff. And
well, we've said, haven't we, that his character is an interesting one that hasn't really been explored, and we've both felt, as much as we've loved both series, along the way, that his character is the one that's slightly getting lost, because Clyde and Rani just seem stronger characters, don't they? They seem to get more to do, whereas Luke's been a little bit in the background a lot of the time. So that's one of the things I wrote, was it's nice to see Luke stepping out of the shadows a bit and getting a bit more screen time, because he is an interesting character. I just don't think we've seen, he's not as memorable. Like Clyde's got all the one-liners and he's that cheeky chappy, and he always seems to come off well in the episodes, whereas Luke just seems to be in the background a lot of the time, and we've both felt that, haven't we? So yeah, it's nice to see him getting. Yeah, and it does bring full circle as well, the whole, him being created and Sarah Jane sort of taking him on as, becoming the mother figure, and then, the woman who created him coming back. So it's really nice to go and explore that again, and to see, like you said, a bit more affection from Miss Wormwood. I think there was a point where there was genuine affection towards him, because she hands him what's it called? That scroll thingy.
The scroll of
she's like
Karath or something.
Yeah, you deserve it. And you're just thinking, that was quite a funny moment, actually. He's like, just runs off with it, doesn't he? Like, but she, So I think there was a good bit of affection between those two in terms of the, she did genuinely want to be his mum again. So, yeah, it was nice to just bring that story full circle, I think, bring it round a bit. So, yeah, I agree with you. Nice to see Luke getting a bit more story time.
It is. And I like the way that the Sarah Jane adventures so far, anyway, brings each series round full circle almost, because in series 1 the story kicked off, didn't it, with Revenge of the Slitheen, and then we come back round at the end with The Lost Boy, which is also those characters from the first Slitheen story, and then this one it's the same thing. So the first story was not the actual first story, or was it The Last Centauran?
Yeah.
And then this one, he comes back. And so it's a good way. I think the writers do a really good, it sounds like they've got a really good, or had a really good, big journey that they wanted all these characters to go on, and when they were going to bring certain monsters back and do certain things. So it all works just really well. Like each series just goes along, and not every episode is amazing, but none of them are really poor. They're all really well written, and the performances are really good. But it just feels really satisfying at the end of, because I felt like that when we came to the end of series 1, and I feel the same way now that we've come to the end of series 2. It's just there's none of this big cliffhanger stuff and you have to, I suspect that's because it was aimed at a younger audience. You didn't want their brains to be taxed too much, but there's no big cliffhanger that leaves you waiting. There aren't any things that you feel are unresolved and that leaves you OCD crazy. It's just a really good, it's just a really good feeling, satisfying at the end. It's just like, crikey, that's been another awesome series of Sarah Jane. Can't wait now to get cracking with series 3. It really feels like,
I must admit, I'm already just so excited to move on to series 3. It does feel plotted nicely, doesn't it? Because the way they tie things in to other stories without you having to think, I don't know what, like this one ties in elements from the first episode and all that. But it doesn't matter if you hadn't seen them, because they do these tiny little flashbacks just to bring you up to date. They're so good at just, like, I think any story from Sarah Jane, you could just dip into it and it wouldn't matter. You may not get every single thing, but you could still just enjoy it as a standalone. But if you do watch the series as a whole, it's very rewarding, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's any episode so far. So we've just finished series 2 then. So I'm looking back, and I don't think there is any episode yet that I wouldn't happily rewatch. I could put on any episode, even if it's one that, it's like you said, some are better than others and whatever. But there's not been any episode yet where we've been like, that wasn't very good. That was boring, or that didn't work, or didn't really enjoy it this week. Every single one I could happily rewatch. They've all got something to them that, that I can enjoy again and again, which is quite something, really. You'd think after 2 series, there might be one episode where we're a bit like, that wasn't so good this week, or, I'm looking at our scores. Have any of them been rated lowly? I don't think they have. Just looking back,
really, I think
they've all been around the sort of 7, 8. We had a 9 last time with the what was it called? The Sarah Jane one, Temptation of Sarah Jane. We gave a 9.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah. Mark of the Berserker 8.5, 8. Secrets of Sarah Jane, you gave a 6.5. That may be one of the lowest.
There's another one, The Warriors of Kudlak. I gave it a 6.5.
I quite enjoyed that one. That was the Russ Abbott.
Yeah, you gave it a 7.
Yeah, see, I really enjoyed that one. But overall, it's been consistently really good, hasn't it, I think?
Very much, yeah. And what did you think to the concept of, like I said, characters coming back to take over the world and take over the galaxy and all that stuff? Happy that they did that, or would you want to have seen a brand new monster or a brand new enemy of some kind?
Well, it's interesting because when we watched the trailer, I must admit I was a bit like, the Bane are back. I wasn't overexcited to see them, but actually they worked really well in this, I thought, because I think you get Mrs. What's her name? Wormwood, who's quite a strong character, because she's sort of leading the episode as the main villain, and then you throw in Karg. I actually thought this works really well. And obviously you got the brig in there as well, so there's quite a lot of things being thrown into the mix. It might, you might sort of think it'd get a bit overcrowded, but for me, all the elements worked really, really well. So as a series final, I think bringing back those characters works well. If it had been mid-series or even any other place, I might not have felt that. But because it's the series final, it does have that feeling of like you said, bringing things, full circle, bringing back all, a couple of characters and stuff. So, yeah, I thought that worked really well. But I wasn't excited when I saw the trailer. I must admit, I thought, the Bane. Not sure about that. Because the design it does feel very Series 1 to me. It's a bit, the design of the Bane creature, the big squid with the eye.
Yep.
When I say Series 1, I think slightly kiddish, in design, slightly childlike in design. I'm not sure I like the design of the Bane particularly. So,
right.
But I do think they actually work really well in this. I don't have a problem with their design in this story. I think they work well. But you know what I mean? It's just they a bit like the Slovene. They look a bit of a sort of almost comedic in a way.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean when I say kiddish.
But, there were a few scenes though where they did look quite menacing, and
that's what I mean. Yeah, I actually think they worked better than I thought. Yeah. The
bit where Clyde and Luke are apprehended by them at Sarah Jane's house
when they get splattered
in episode 1. Yeah, that's
hilarious.
That was pretty good, and that was an interesting thing to do as well, because I think throughout the Sarah Jane adventures, she's always taken the higher moral view on things, and she a bit like the Doctor really. She never wants to really kill or cause harm to anything, but in this episode there are Bane getting killed left, right, and centre, and it is quite comedic actually. And I think it works okay. When they get, I think it's Mrs. Wormwood that uses the ring, doesn't she?
That's right. Yeah.
And one of them explodes all over those. Is it Clyde mainly?
Yeah.
So that to me was one of the things throughout Sarah Jane that this episode especially, episode 1, that really felt like it was for the kids, which is not a bad thing because it's aimed at the kids. But when it's a bit like Going Live or with like the gunge thing, like all the kids always used to get gunged in some kind of competition. So you could tell it was that kind of thing. There were no organs flying around or entrails or anything gory like that. It was literally just that.
Just slime.
The greeny gunge that, yeah.
Mm. How did you feel about the brig? I mean, I think we were both excited about the brig coming back. Were you satisfied with what he got to do in this? Because I mean, I was and I wasn't, but I understand why he couldn't do more, because he does. Nick Courtney, bless him, looks a little frail in this, doesn't he?
Yes.
And I think they were probably limited, perhaps, in what he could and couldn't do. So for example, there's the bit where he has to guard the the soldier that's gone rogue, or who actually is a Bane himself, isn't he? So which we could see a mile off that was coming. I think Nick Courtney, is lovely to have him in it, and there are some truly great scenes with him and Sarah Jane. But I don't know, I suppose I kind of in my head thinking, he's going to get really stuck into the action stuff, but they can't do that because he's, you can tell that he's I don't know how old he was when he filmed this, but he's a lot frailer than he was, but it's just lovely to see the brig back, I think, especially that first scene when he's putting that guy in his place. And then Sarah Jane walks in, and that scene between the two of them, I mean, it's worth it just for that alone. Yeah, just to see them together.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, this was out in, when was it, 2008? Yeah, Nicholas Courtney passed in 2011.
Right.
So it was a few years really prior. But he does look a bit frail, like you said. He does look... I don't think there could have been any serious running around or any physical stuff, put it that way.
I think what I was thinking is I sort of wanted him to be sort of at the end when everything's getting tied up, but he's kind of left
I see.
in the house. And I sort of thought, oh no, but then I think, as I said, it's more to do with how much perhaps they could do with him at that time. And
let's not forget, his character is actually retired. He's still part of UNIT. He's, what do they call him? He's more of a diplomatic kind of character for UNIT now, isn't he? I can't remember what they call him. An envoy or something like that. And so he is meant to be old and retired and not really getting his hands dirty anymore. But the times that he was in it, they were typical Brigadier stuff.
Yes, yeah.
He hasn't lost. Well, he hadn't have lost his charm at the time.
That's exactly the word, isn't it? He's still got that charm. When he first goes into the unit base and he just gives the guy on the gate a smile and hello, good morning, and that Britishness, and he's still absolutely in character and all that. It's really nice to see Unit properly in Sarah Jane as well, because they've been mentioned, haven't they?
They have
been mentioned,
yes.
But I am right in saying, aren't I? This is the first time we see them in Sarah Jane.
I think it is. Yeah.
So it's nice to actually bring them in and get mention of the Black Archive and all that. Again, just tying in little things that if you're a fan, you would absolutely pick up on, but if you're not, it wouldn't matter. So, that was really good. I'm not a fan of the Red Berets, though. I never have been. That's a new series thing, isn't it? These Unit Red Berets.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those, but
it was good that the Sarah Jane Adventures kicked off the concept of the Black Archive, because it came from this episode.
Did it? I wondered actually. Yeah. I wasn't sure. Yeah, that is good. I like that.
So that's good, and it's also good how they tied in with the brig. So at the beginning, or near the beginning, when Sarah Jane and Ronnie go to see the brig, because she realises that the only way she's going to get into the Black Archive is with his help. And when we get there, the unit soldier who's actually a Bane.
Yeah,
he's a bit forceful with the brig, isn't he? He's a little bit. I wouldn't say he's disrespectful, but
he's on the borderline there. Yeah.
And they mentioned that the brig had just got back from Peru. And that ties in really nicely with the Poison Sky, the 10th Doctor story. Because during that episode, the Doctor asks where the Brigadier is, and they say, oh, he's in Peru. So it's really nice at the beginning of this story. He's come back from, so it all the dots have been joined together.
It all ties in.
Yeah. Which is genius, really. And it's one of those things that really doesn't have to be in there. It doesn't do anything for the story whatsoever. But for fans of Doctor Who, it's that little smile on your face, like, oh, that's what they meant in the other story, and so on. And it's those little touches that, like you said earlier, you don't have to know those to enjoy the story. But long-time fans or whatever, it's just a really nice little way of it wouldn't say it's an Easter egg, but it's just those nice little nods, isn't it, to the rest of the Doctor Who universe.
It just ties it all in really nicely, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes. But that's not to say that the brig doesn't really get some action, because he's got his little cane that fires the...
Yeah, I loved that.
How cool is that?
Absolutely loved that.
I don't even know what's in it. Is it like a poisonous dart or something? I'm sure it looked like a little arrow or dart or something. But it looked very, very cool, though.
Yes, that was I kind of cheered a little bit in my head at that moment. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I think the brig is awesome in it. I think it's like one of those things it's a bit like when you go and visit your gran and granddad, and you sort of forget, when you see them, you forget actually that they are getting on and older than you remember. And I was thinking, oh, the poor old brig, he does look a little old in this, but yeah, no, it was still absolutely brilliant. And like you said, the scene with the cane, and when he goes into unit and stuff, and driving his Rolls Royce, which absolutely suits. Is a roller, isn't it, or is it a?
Yeah, it's a roller. I think so.
Silver roller. Yeah. Just all suits the character of the brig down to the ground. I loved all of that stuff. Yeah,
it was good, because I think that sometimes in TV shows you have these cameos and stuff. I think just for the sake of it. But it turns out that his character was actually integral, because there was no way at all that she was getting into the Black Archive.
No, that's
without
right.
his help.
Yeah,
absolutely no way. She could have gone and seen units and explained the whole situation, but because the guy, the what is he, a colonel or a commander, the other guy, because he was a Bane, there was no way it was going to happen. So the brig's character was really important. So it wasn't a cameo just for the sake of a cameo. Like, who can we bring back, just to flesh out the story? He was actually really important. So I'm glad that they did it that way, that they needed him to do it. And it's really nice, the interaction between Sarah Jane and the brig throughout the whole thing, where he's really happy to see her, isn't he? When she first goes to see him.
It's lovely.
They have a hug, But what's cool is that he still maintains his almost leadership skills, if you like. Because there's a bit where...
he's still a tour de force, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. So the bit where the alarm goes off when they're in a black archive and they're running out, and then you've got what is that guy's name?
Do you know what? It's weird you say that, because I've just been looking through trying to find him. I thought you're on about the soldier that turns out to be a Bane, aren't you?
Yeah, that other guy, the other unit. Name? Yeah, him. So he runs out and the brig is properly shouting back, and because at that point they don't know he's a Bane, so they just assume he's just one of these uptight by the book unit sergeants or whatever it is. I really can't remember his name or what his rank is, but we'll have a read through as we're chatting. But
well, no, it's weird because for the last 2 minutes I've been trying to, as you've been talking, trying to read through, trying to find his name. I thought I'd remember it as well because it sounded like something else. But while we're talking about him, it's kind of obvious that there's something not right about him right from the get-go.
Yes.
Like you kind of assume he's a Bane straight away. And I'm thinking, is that intentional or is it just down to his performance? Like, because he plays it a bit weird and then he gets even weirder and to the point where you're like, well, okay, yes, I thought he might be, he definitely is. But do you think he should have played it a bit straighter to begin with and then it would have been more of a shock? Or do you think they kind of thought it didn't matter? And you know, I don't know if that's down to his performance or if that's intentional, that you're like, there's something not right about him. Because I mean, it wasn't exactly a shock when he turns out to be a Bane. I was like, well, yeah, saw that coming a mile off.
Yeah, I think I'm undecided on that one. Because I think the way that they did it was perfectly fine.
Yeah, so do I, yeah.
And you do get an inkling that something's not right with him, which is a good thing because his performance was it wasn't over the top. It was towards the end, but it wasn't over the top too much. So you just knew that something was not quite right. But I've got his name. It's Major Cal Kilburn.
Kilburn. I knew it's that because I was thinking, see, I know how bad me and you are at remembering names, so I've been trying to think of a way to do it. When he said his name, I thought, yeah, think of Kilburn in London. And I still forgot.
Yeah.
Kilburn, yes, that's him. That's the one.
As always, our listeners will be screaming at whatever device they're listening on. Saying,
I hadn't even had a way to remember it this week and still didn't get it. Yeah, Kilburn.
Yes. But no, I thought the reveal was fairly expectant. But I would say that if I was like a 10-year-old, I might not have been. So I don't think the jig would have been up so quick if I was a young kid watching it.
Yeah. But, and I kind of like it because you do straight away think, interesting, he's not right, sort of thing. What's going on? You know, what's going on with him?
Yeah, to be honest with you, the first point, shall I say, that I realised something was up was when they arrive at the Black Archive and Sarah Jane and Rani are still hiding in the back of the car. And he's talking to the brig and he comes across as really friendly, like I didn't mean any disrespect and all that stuff. He goes to walk off, but then turns around and he's like super angry again.
Yeah.
Why did you say you were here? And all of it. And then the brig obviously is playing it cool. And he walks off.
He does a really weird smile, doesn't he, at the end?
Exactly. It was that smile.
When I thought, yeah.
It was that smile. I thought, oh, something's not right here.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, a fairly decent character, though. In terms of story.
He was quite good, actually. He is a bit OTT, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? I thought, kind of suited the character, yeah.
And in terms of story and threat, so a lot of the times, in exactly the same way that we have with Doctor Who, in the Sarah Jane Adventures, there's always some alien or group of aliens that are looking to destroy the planet or take over. Did you feel like the threat level was there with this one?
Yeah, I suppose in a way, but not more to do with like Luke and Sarah Jane than actually taking over the world, I think.
Okay.
I was more interested in the whole thing going on between Miss Wormwood and Luke and Sarah Jane and all that stuff. But yeah, I thought the threat level was there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually thought this one, like it's potentially going to go... obviously, we knew it wouldn't end up with a destruction of Earth or anything like that, but there was a point where I thought it's the bit where Luke actually takes the scroll thingy in.
Yes.
Of Harath. What's the thing called? You know the thing.
The Tsuka scroll or something.
Yeah, that thing. Where he takes it into the stone circle and drops it in, and then the portal opens. I thought, crikey, this is
all happening.
Stuff's happening, yeah. And I actually liked the effect, when the ground collapsed and it was just the portal with the thing in the middle.
Yeah, I did as well. I thought, for the time.
Looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, I must admit the effects in this actually they really suit the episode. I think you could argue they look a bit dated or whatever, but I kind of like it. You know, like when we get the matte shot of the unit archive, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you know it's an effect, but I think, actually, that looks quite good. And like you said, I really liked the portal opening up in the ground and stuff like that. And I didn't think the Bane looked too bad either. I mean, they clearly CGI and all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't cringy. I didn't sit there and think, oh man, that doesn't look good. You know, it all kind of worked, I thought.
Yeah, no, I did.
On a level that it was good enough. You know, not amazing, but it was good enough. It all worked, I think.
No, I agree. Yeah. In fact, there was the bit where they go into the Black Archive and they fleshed it out, the size and everything with CG.
Yes.
That potentially looked better than when they go, what's the Capaldi story, when they go into the vault?
Oh, yeah, no, you don't. You're not a fan of that, are you?
Crikey.
Time Heist.
Time Heist, yeah. But well, arguably looks better than that.
Years.
Yeah. It has. It's awful. That effect. They haven't even got the geometry right. It's like the angles of the... Oh, crikey. But yeah, it looks... I think the worst effects out of all of them are the Bane characters themselves. And even they're not awful.
I think you could argue that, but they still, I think, work well enough.
Yeah, they're not awful.
No.
But I think out of all the CG, they were the worst ones. But
you can tell that they've put a bit of time into it. I think that's the thing. You know that they didn't have much money. It's a CBBC show.
Yeah.
But you can tell that they've put a bit of love into it. I keep thinking back to the shot of in the last story, Temptation of Sarah Jane. Remember the matte shot of the when the world had been destroyed and Big Ben was all crashed, and you thought, actually, they've really done that well for the time. And I get the same feeling with this. They probably didn't have a lot of money. They probably didn't have a lot to work with, but they've clearly put the heart into it and made it as good as they can, because it really does show. I think
it shows in pretty much every aspect of the show as a whole.
Yeah,
you can tell that everybody's that worked on it wanted it to be as good as it can be. Yeah.
I always get that feeling. Yeah.
What did you think to Mrs. Wormwood then, played by Samantha Bond, because she was the main protagonist?
I thought she was great, actually. Yeah. I think I liked her in the first story. I can't remember, because that's the very first episode, isn't it, that she appears in? I'm assuming, because she created Luke, it must be.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought she was really good in this. I thought she was playing it villainous, good enough to be fun for the kids as a baddie, but also without stepping over the line into pantomime villain. I think she was really good in this part. You know, she was menacing. Like, I believed that she would do all the stuff she said she was going to do. You know, I wouldn't want to mess with her. But yeah, she also brought a bit of fun to the sort of bad side, as bad character as well. So I thought she played it really well. Is she in James Bond? Because I'm sure I recognise her as from the James Bond film. Was she Miss Moneypenny? I've just got to Google this because it was bugging me the whole time I was watching it yesterday. And I was thinking I must. Yes, she was. Yeah, Miss Moneypenny. That's where I know her from. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Samantha Bond, I thought was perfect casting for this. Thought she was really, really good.
Miss Moneypenny.
Miss Moneypenny. I thought it was. I think I was watching it yesterday thinking I've suddenly realised where I know her from, and it's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's Brosnan Bond. Yeah. So yeah, what did you think she was good? She's not too pantomime, or she's quite villainous, I think.
Yeah, I thought she. Some of the best villains are the quiet ones that aren't all shouty and I think she plays the manipulative side of it very well. So
yes.
The first, the 2/3 of episode 1 is essentially about her trying to get Sarah Jane out of the way and get her on side so that she can execute the plan. It's not until she gets rumbled, isn't it, by her plan gets rumbled, and then she just runs with it. She's just like, yep, the cat's out the bag, literally. I'm the bad guy, yeah. So I think up to that point she was really good, and then after that she's just got a cool head throughout all of it. She just sticks to the plan. She even sorts out Karg, doesn't she? He plays up a little
funny.
bit.
I think this is why I like her so much in that as that character, because she's really rounded. She can be menacing when she needs to be bad. She can be quite humorous when she's sorting out poor old Karg. And yet she can also show a caring side when she really, wants to be a mum to Luke. So she actually is quite a rounded character. I think she does it really well. Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, she's an interesting character.
Poor old Karg. Let's talk about Karg.
Oh, Karg.
He's a great Sontaran, isn't he?
He's all right, yeah, because
I like him.
He's good because you can tell that he's still clinging on to the old Sontar kind of spirit and the code and everything. But in a way, he's not really. Like, on one end of the scale, he likes to give off that impression that he's a loyal, what's the word? A loyal servant to Sontar and all that, and he still upholds all that stuff. But on the other hand, he's essentially a slave. He's working for Mrs. Wormwood, and he's not really doing what the Sontarans would predictably do in that situation. He's just going along with it. But he does play up a little bit, doesn't he? He holds Luke at gunpoint, I think, as hostage, but she soon sorts him out.
Yeah. Damn half forms. But again, what I love about, so it's Anthony O'Donnell, the actor inside the suit. What I love about his performance is he manages to get a great balance between being threatening and comedic, which is sometimes not that easy to do. So a bit like Miss Wormwood, they both have that. They manage to switch quite nicely from being, the baddie to being quite likable.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I think he's a great Sontaran actually, and it's weird because if I'd never watched this, he's, as far as I know, he's only in Sarah Jane, isn't he? So if I'd never watched this series, then would never have got to sort of know that character. I don't know if he does, but I kind of hope he pops up again because I quite like him. Oh no, he went in the portal, didn't he? He's gone in the. Yeah, he pushed her in and he's gone with her, didn't he? So yeah. Do
you know that he's 70 years old now?
What? No.
Yeah.
70?
Anthony O'Donnell, he's 70, yeah.
I must admit, I was dying to know. I need to find a picture of the actual actor because I'm dying to know what he really looks like. He was in Minder. Gosh, he's been in. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. The Sweeney. He was in.
Sweeney. God, these are all shows I love.
Well, they're really old. I didn't realise he was. I'm not, no disrespect, but he is a fairly old-looking guy.
Yeah.
He looks like Father Christmas. He's got a big white beard.
Have you got a picture of him? I'm just going to Google him while we're.
Yeah, he's got a big white beard and white hair, and yeah.
Oh, I can't use my blimmin' Mac. I'm trying to copy and paste, and it's a disaster. Anyway, I'll have a look at him later because I thought he was really good.
He was good, actually. Yeah,
a good Sontaran. Yeah, a fun Sontaran.
Yes, and it seems to be a theme because, however, and we had this a lot with Strax.
Yeah,
you have to be careful though. Because some of the complaints with Strax was that it diluted the threat of the Sontarans. It made them just look like jokey, comedic kind of monsters from Doctor Who. Or aliens, sorry. But I feel like the line's well tread here because he doesn't have as much comedy and one-liners as Strax does. But he still has those little moments where you just think, oh, come here. Everything's going to be all right. Come on. You feel like he's going to break down in tears in a minute.
Yeah. I must admit, and that's good, isn't it? Because otherwise he'd be a bit of a carbon copy of Strax.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing. You're right. He's got elements of Strax's character and the humor and the way he's, wants to be the best soldier and all that. But yeah, he does rein it in slightly. Yeah. So it does make him different. And I've now got a picture of him, of the actual actor in front of me, and I do recognize him. Yeah, he was in lots of stuff back in the day. Mm-hmm. Had no idea that was him in the suit. Yeah. That's really cool to know, actually. Yeah.
Very small appearance from Rani's dad.
Yeah, he's kind of just baking a cake or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't get a lot to do in this one.
Yeah, but a more substantial bit at the beginning anyway from Geeta, Rani's mum.
Yeah, it's funny because of the way the episode starts. I don't know about you, but I assumed it was going to be a Geeta and Rani led story. I thought, it's going to be about them again this week.
Right.
And it does quickly change, doesn't it, to being more of a Luke story. And if anything, Rani's the one that comes off worst in terms of getting stuff to do this week. She's very much pushed to the back and Luke is pushed to the fore. But because of what we said earlier, I think that's a good thing. I think that needed to happen because Rani's been quite strong and led quite a few stories now. So it's good to have Luke at the forefront of this story. But did you think that, though, at the start? I thought, it's going to be a Rani story because her mum's been thing and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did for a few moments. Absolutely, yeah. But then that kind of gets squashed relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But no, I thought for a moment, it's going to be which wouldn't have been a terrible thing, but yeah.
No, it's just I think she's been good in this series, but she's had quite a lot of she's been in the spotlight quite a lot. I think it definitely needed Luke to come forward in this one. I am starting to warm towards Rani's mum. She is very over the top in her performance, but she is likable.
Yeah. No, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just very bubbly, isn't she? I sometimes think she's a bit OTT, but I am warming to her. I do quite like her.
Well, I think it's one of those, as long as I don't know, because in the first episode that we see Rani's dad as the headmaster, he kind of had a bit of a meatier role, didn't he? He was in that one quite a lot, but whereas Rani's mum, she just seems to pop up in these little moments, and the moments that she's in it, she's just got this bubbly, laughy. You just think, shut up.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But in this one, she wasn't too bad.
Let's put it this way. Rani's dad, Harash, he plays it, he's plays the characters more serious and straight, whereas she's very bubbly and a bit OTT. But yeah, I don't know. I'm warming to her, but she can be a bit cringe, I know.
A wee bit.
Oh, yeah.
But not too bad. Yeah. Let's carry on with characters then. So who else have we got? The Attic team then. So what did you think to Clyde and Rani in this one? Because they took a little bit of a backseat for Luke, really.
They do. I mean, yeah, Rani for me gets a bit lost in this story, to be honest. She kind of just seems to be chasing the others. She's sort of there, but I don't think she gets much to do in the story. But again, it's not a bad thing because she has had plenty of stuff to do in previous stories. So Clyde, I think, is really good in it as usual. He gets loads of nice one-lines. Again, he always gets some great lines, and he delivers the humour really well, I think. I think he's a really likeable character. So I think they're both good in it. It's just that, Rani doesn't get much to do. And I think Clyde sort of outshines her with his cheeky, chappy one-liners and stuff. So he definitely is a bit more memorable in this story. Yeah.
Yeah, as always, I think Clyde's character is... He's the one to just bring the comic relief.
He's
always,
a great character.
Isn't he? Yeah. But I agree with you though, mate. Rani, she doesn't get a great deal to do. She's quite angry and she's quite in the moment when she finds out her mum's been kidnapped or whatever.
Yeah.
But after that point, she just fades in. Even when she's with Sarah Jane and they go off to the Black Archive and that stuff, she's not really doing... I mean, don't get me wrong. She is good in it, but
she is good, but she kind of gets a bit sidetracked, a bit lost. She doesn't add much to this story, unfortunately, but that's not her fault. She's just, as I said, there's a lot going on in this. They throw a lot of characters in there, and I think she just suffers a bit from that. But yeah, she's still good.
Yeah, and then Luke, Tommy Knight, he has obviously a bit more to do in this one because he gets kidnapped and he has to work out where he's come from, where he wants to be, and who he wants to be with, and all that. A little bit of an early midlife crisis.
I'm kind of torn with the character of Luke because I like the character and I like Tommy Knight, but I sometimes just want him to just give a little bit more.
Yeah,
he plays it very much. He plays such a soft. I don't know. I kind of like it because it's so in contrast to the other guys. Mm-hmm. But he looks like you could knock him over with a feather, doesn't he? Every time I see him, he looks thinner, and I'm like, I wish Sarah Jane would give him a good meal because he just looks so tiny and skinny, and he just, I don't know. His performance is very subtle. I sometimes want him to just give a little bit more in his performance.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It just feels like, and also just the way he comes across as well, he just seems so
delicate.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So delicate, a bit of a snowflake, and.
Yeah, I mean, he is good in the action scenes, like when he runs off with the scroll. He's good. He is good in the action scenes, and he does get stuck in when he needs to. But he's still, even in this one, even though he's sort of forefront of this story, I think he still gets a little bit lost. I think Clyde is just the strongest character out of three of them, and I think he probably always will be. But I do like Luke, and I think Tommy Knight's good in that part.
Yeah, it's one of his better ones. A bit more meat on the bones for him, for his character.
Yeah. And he is good with Sarah Jane, isn't he? He's always good when we get scenes between those two. There is a good, what's the word? Chemistry. Yep. Yeah, he's always good with Sarah Jane. Yeah.
And what do you think about Sarah Jane and Liz Sladen in this one?
Yeah, it's funny. It's a bit like when we have the Doctor. I hate to say the same thing every week, but she's just so good. She's just brilliant. She's just. I can't imagine there'll ever be a time when we sit here and say, "Oh dear, Liz Sladen wasn't hitting the mark this week." I just can't see it happening because she's just so consistently brilliant.
Yeah.
And I love her to bits. It's so strange to feel such a connection and warmth towards somebody on a TV screen. Do you know what I mean?
No, it is. No, I know what you mean. I think a lot of people get that.
She feels so real. I feel like Sarah Jane could be living around the corner, and and that's because of her performance. She's just, Liz Sladen's just brilliant, and she's so good at working with the other characters. Like, you never feel like there's any awkwardness or like she's trying to steal the scene, or she just seems to work so well no matter who she's acting against. She just seems to be on point, and it is, as I know I've said it, but it is amazing to see her and the Brig together. Just the scene of them sat next to each other in the car, just strolling along, chatting. I mean, it's just magic.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Those two, just magic. Yeah.
I haven't got anything else to say, mate. It's the same as you. I don't want to say the same thing like a stuck record every time we do it.
Yeah.
But she is just consistently brilliant in every story. She's got so much heart, warmth, and she's just,
I just love
magic.
Being in her company, even though it's a blimmin' TV show. It's like, I think that's why I'm enjoying this series so much. It's like visiting a friend once a month. I just love being in Sarah Jane's company. I'll tell you a scene I love as well was when the Sonic lipstick got crushed, and I was like, oh no, the Sonic lipstick, oh no. And then she brings out another one at the end, and she's like, well, you didn't think I'd only got one? A girl doesn't only have one lipstick or something. And I was like, yeah, she's just great. She's just brilliant.
One thing I just want to mention before we get on to scores is we had 2 bloody fanfares this one.
Yeah. And the thing is, this time she's like, I'm in a hurry. And he still does the full, Mr. Smith does the full fanfare thingy, doesn't he?
Yeah. Anything else you want to mention before we put a score on this?
No, actually, I just thought something else to do with Liz Sladen. Actually, is, I know we said she's great performance and all that sort of stuff. She's also very good at doing these end of episode speeches that just hit me like an arrow through the heart.
Oh yeah.
So she does it at the end of this one. We get a lovely wrap up. She's talking about sharing moments with friends, and then you see her and the Brig hug, and he drives off and puts his hand up, and I wouldn't say I was in bits this week, but it got me emotionally again, and she's so good at those. Her voice and everything. Oh, yeah. It's just, I just thought it was a lovely, lovely ending to the episode.
It is lovely, yeah. She says that...
I feel like she's like a teacher in a way. You sit there and you listen to the words that she's saying, and it's going in, and you're thinking, oh, she's so right. It's just like, it's almost like, I don't know. She's just,
It's
incredible.
The world's a slightly less shinier, isn't it, without Liz Sladen around, but... Yeah, she does say that as she's saying goodbye to the Brig, she's like, the universe can be amazing, our own little corner of it, and aliens will always visit and all that stuff, because it's a wonderful place to be. And it for the kids and stuff, it's just so, that's exactly what you want to hear. That positivity and that loveliness, and
that lovely ending as well. The last shot of them just stood in the attic, and it pans up through the window, and you're like, yeah, they're there. Yeah. I think that's the thing. That's the kind of thing that leaves me thinking, God, I can't wait for the next series. That's the kind of thing that leaves you wanting more. You're just like, yeah, there they are, ready to go again. What a team.
Yeah. Scores then, buddy.
Scores on the doors. I think it's you to go first this time, isn't it?
No way.
Or is it me?
It's you, man.
It's me, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for an 8 out of 10. I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable and a good end to the series, I thought.
I am going to give it a 3. No. I'm going to give it an 8.
You're giving it an 8 as well?
An 8 as well, yeah.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think it's just a thoroughly good watch.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Very good. What did our listeners think? We had a few reviews in. We got some audio clips in.
Oh, good.
Let's do the first one. This is Sammy Satine.
Hey, Gary and Adam, Sammy Satine here. So, the enemy of the Bane, the Brigadier. He is, of course, brilliant as ever, and I really do think it's such a shame he never appeared in the new series of Doctor Who. Rest in peace, Brigadier, and Nicholas Courtney, of course. Karg is back. The Sontaran who tried to destroy the Earth before via satellites, now making a noble sacrifice. Mrs. Wormwood is back too, and she looks great in purple. Poor Geeta gets put in a trance again and kidnapped. I like the fact that Brigadier's cane had a bullet in it to fire in emergencies and that he used it to stop that slimy Major Kilburn. I give it 9 Brigadier Sir Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewarts out of 10. See ya.
9, that's good.
9, that's cool. Thank you very much, Sammy.
Yeah, cheers, Sammy.
Next up is Matt Steele.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Matt Steele here again. Hope you guys well, had a good week. So, Enemy of the Bane. First off, I think Nicholas Courtney gives an absolutely fantastic performance as the Brigadier, especially given his age. I think he was, just stellar. I think everyone had some pretty funny one-liners in this, especially Sarah Jane Clyde and Mrs. Wormwood. It was a nice tie-in to Tooth and Claw when Rani says, "I bet she wasn't amused when talking about Queen Victoria." The Bane CGI is a little dated, but it's good for the time. I'm not sure how the Bane would have been stopped by a hosepipe, but there we go. I think the story gives Luke a bit more of a chance to have some more backbone. I thought Karg would have been a better shot, seeing as he's supposed to be one of the most feared warriors in the galaxy, but that's my opinion. And how can Stonehenge be a portal to Horath and be a prison for the Doctor in the Pandorica Opens at the same time? I think there's some wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff going on there. It's not as good as last week, but it's still pretty good. I give this a 7 out of 10. Cheers, guys. Have a good week.
7.
Cheers, Matt. Yes, that's a good point about the "she's not amused" line. I like that. And he's just reminded me, I bet you liked the Star Wars, well, it's not a quote, is it? But it's a bit of a homage to it when she says, "I am your mother," instead of "I am your father." Clearly a little Star Wars reference there.
A little poke. Yeah, that was good. Thank you very much, Matt.
Did she say, "I'm your mother, Luke"? Anyway, either way, it was a Star Wars. "I'm your mother, Luke." Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. And last audio clip. This is Luke Malloy.
Hello, Gary and Adam. It's Luke Malloy here, and today it's Enemy of the Bane. I'll just come out and say it. I'm not really fond of this one, which is a shame because I do quite enjoy the Sarah Jane Adventures. But I'd probably go as far to say this is the worst in Series 2. I'm not a fan of the Bane as monsters in general. They don't really do anything for me. And the story, bar a little nice reintroduction of the Brig, doesn't really capture me at all. Just not that interested in it really at all. It's still got nice moments. I mean, Sarah Jane and the gang are always quite good to watch, so it's not terrible, but it's just not the best Sarah Jane there is. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Thanks again.
A 5.
Heartless. No, it's fine if you didn't dig it. Oh, it's a shame.
Luke not feeling this one.
He's not feeling it. Well,
not at all. No. Oh well. Thank you very much, guys, for sending in your audio clips. Very much appreciated, as always. Over on Twitter, we had Jack at Hooveneer says, "I absolutely adore this story. To see Nick meet Liz Sladen for the last time is a real treat, especially with Unit appearing briefly. The fact that the Bane return for the story makes it even better, as they are one of the best SJA villains. Cannot fault it at 9.5.
Ooh, cool.
The Who Society. Overall, it's a really enjoyable story. Having Nick Courtney back is just great. And from the moment he turns around, everyone's heartstrings begin to pull. Yes. Always good to see the Bane back. The story is also helped by great visuals, acting and music, 8.5. Nice. Our Jordan Shortman says, "Love this one on its initial release. It's lovely to see Nick Courtney in this Sladen Terror again. Samantha Bond is great as always, and Karg was a nice addition. Overall, it's another great entry into the SJA world and a great addition for classic fans. Bless Nick." Yeah. Sir Jake B says, "Great episode. Lovely to see the Brig and Sarah Jane reunited. Great acting, but the ending is a bit naff. 8 out of 10. Let's have a look. There's one more. Nope, that was Spencer telling me off.
Telling you off.
The Doctor Who related thing. Right, let's go over to Facebook. Charlie Turner says, "Apart from The Larson Tyrant, this is the only episode from Series 2 I remember seeing for the most part. Nice to see the Brig again since Battlefield for the very last time, even though I had no idea who he was on the first viewing back when this aired on TV. A nice solid story, but not amazing. Can't really think of a rating for this one, but if I do, I'll let you know on a future comment."
Fair enough.
Up in the air, Charlie. Yep. Miles
He was
Mackenzie.
hanging.
Yeah, Miles Mackenzie. A great story yet again. Absolutely loved the brig and had a nice, cool little plot going on too. All the casts were on point again and an unexpected fate for Karg. Still loved the moment where it's revealed the brig had a secret weapon in his walking stick. A 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, yeah.
And lastly, Joseph Howarth says, this was a great episode. Another episode involving the Bane and Mrs. Wormwood, and this time no Kelsey. It was good to see the brig again, but at the same time, sad that this was his actual last appearance before Nick Courtney died. And finally, he got to shoot an alien with live bullets. I was surprised that Karg was the Bane agent and ended sacrificing himself for his race. A 9 out of 10.
Yeah, cool.
Some pretty decent scores there overall.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a good ending, I think, to the series. I'm so excited to move on to Series 3 because I know we've got, even though I haven't seen... I think I've seen one story, not from Series 3, but I mean from the next series. I don't even know which series it is. I've seen the one with Matt Smith. So I know we've got the 10th Doctor's coming up, I think, in the next series. Following on from that, Joe Grant and the 11th Doctor pop up in a future series. I don't think that's the next series, the future series. You know, we've got some real gems to come, I think. Somebody said to us, didn't they, at the start when we started reviewing Sarah Jane, it just gets better and better.
Yes.
And I think they're right. I think every time, I mean, yeah, it does. So I think it's just, I just can't wait to get on to Series 3. I'm loving it.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's been awesome so far. Yeah. Next week for our review, we're zipping back through the time vortex for classic Doctor Who. What have we got next week, buddy?
It's a first Doctor story. We haven't done a first Doctor in a while, and it's a long one. You're gonna have to get a few hours in on this one. It's the Keys of Marinus.
The Keys of Marinus.
Next week, I am actually so up for a first Doctor story. I'm really in the mood for a bit of Hartnell. Keys of Marinus. Now, how many episodes is
6.
that? Is it 6? Is it?
Yep.
Cool.
What was the last Hartnell story we did? The 10th Planet back in October.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well overdue then. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing a bit more, a bit of Hartnell next week. That's going to be good. 6 parts, eh? It's the ones with the funny wetsuit people in it. Vord, and all that. Can't remember what they're called. Vords.
Double O, Vord.
Vord, yeah. Do you remember? Well, yeah. Do you remember those? I just remember there's a famous shot of one of them lifting up Carol Ann Ford and it just looking like she really didn't want to be there. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be good. And they've got they've got like the black hood things on.
Yeah, they've got these funny little not antlers, funny little things on their head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember what they do in the episode. I just remember that picture of that one lifting up Susan. But yeah. So 6 parts next week. Keys of Marinus.
Keys of Marinus. Yes, get that watched because we'll be asking for your points and views as always. And I think we're going to wrap there, buddy, for 231. Thank you so much for sticking with us through episode 231. It's been awesome having you aboard the TARDIS as always. Thank you so much for your reviews and thoughts on The Enemy of the Bane from Sarah Jane, as we wrap up series 2 of that next week. Classic Doctor Who, The Keys of Marinus from the first Doctor. So get your DVDs out, get those 6 parts watched. Don't care how you do it, all 6 together, 3 and 3, 2 and 2 and 2, whatever you like. But we'll be asking. Just get it done, yeah. In the meantime, head over to our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all of our previous shows on there. Plus, there are buttons to link off to the various podcast networks if you want to give our show a subscribe so that you don't miss it when it goes out on a Friday morning. And if you are an iTunes listener, if you could spare a minute for a review and a rating, that would be awesome because that helps us out lots and lots and lots. There are also buttons there to link off to the various social networks. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. So head over there, we chat Doctor Who and various snippets and bits and bobs throughout the week between shows. So it'll be great to have you on over there. Also check out my co-host's YouTube channel, The Geek's Handbag.
Yes, Geek's Handbag.
The Geek's Handbag. Last video was good. All of your autographs and photos and whatnot.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very nice. You must have a huge collection of that stuff by now.
I have got a lot of autos, actually. Yeah.
Binders and binders overflowing with all of
Binders of them, all going mouldy in the corner of the bedroom, yeah.
And then I think the last couple of videos was it you had an unboxing, you did a load of blind boxes.
Oh, I love the blind boxes.
Who doesn't?
They're my favourite videos to do, yeah.
Yes. So give Adam a subscribe over on YouTube, just do a search for The Geek's Handbag, and you're also on all of the social channels under the same name, so just do a search for The Geek's Handbag. Get involved, give us all a like and a follow so we can all chat and talk Doctor Who and all that stuff. Until next week for episode 232, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Allons-y.